Today, we're diving into something I think a lot of us do, maybe without even realizing it. This constant need to fill our lives with background noise. You know that feeling, right? You're trying to work or cook or just exist, and the complete silence just feels wrong, almost loud in a way. So what do? You instinctively reach for your phone to put on a podcast or flip on a TV show you've seen 100 times. Well, if that sounds like you, I've got some really good news. It's not a sign that your attention span is broken or that you can't focus. It's actually a super clever, deeply ingrained survival tool. Your brain isn't failing, it's actively using sound to help you cope with the world. So what's really going on here? Well, this whole behavior comes down to a really fascinating idea called the acoustic blanket. And honestly, that name just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's like you're wrapping yourself in a warm, comforting blanket made of sound. It's this predictable layer of noise that your brain intentionally uses to protect itself from all the stuff swirling around, both inside your head and out in the world. And probably the biggest job of this acoustic blanket is to manage our inner world. To deal with all the noise that's already going on inside our own minds. Here's the crazy paradox of it all. For a mind that's always on the go, silence isn't peaceful at all. It's just an empty stage for your anxieties to put on a one-person show. It creates this vacuum, and your brain just can't help but rush in to fill it with worries, to-do lists, and endless replays of that awkward thing you said yesterday. This whole mental hamster wheel thing, it actually has a name: rumination. It's when you get stuck chewing on the same thoughts over and over and over again without ever reaching a solution, and it is absolutely exhausting. So background noise, that's just your brain's way of gently telling that little hamster to please take a break. So you've got this incredible contrast, right? On one hand, silence can make that internal chatter feel deafening and just cranks up your stress levels. But on the other hand, adding this gentle, external sound gives your brain a simple, easy thing to latch onto, which actually calms your nervous system down. It's a welcome distraction from its own complicated worries. And it's not always just about overthinking either. Sometimes silence lets those really deep, complicated feelings bubble up to the surface, feelings we're just not quite ready to deal with. And when that happens, our brain looks for the quickest, easiest escape hatch it can find. This is exactly how that habit gets wired in. A difficult emotion pops up, you turn on a familiar voice, boom, instant relief. Your brain makes a little note, hey, that worked. And so this powerful loop is created, and noise becomes your go-to tool for managing your emotions. But this acoustic blanket isn't just for managing what's inside. It's also a really powerful way to take control of what's happening on the outside. I mean, that's maybe the understatement of the year, right? Our lives are messy. Things are constantly changing, and so much feels completely out of our control. And our brains are hardwired to see all that uncertainty as a potential threat. Not being in control is basically a direct pipeline to feeling stressed out and anxious. And this is where we get to reclaim a little bit of that control. We can't do anything about the traffic or the economy or the weather, but we can control our sensory environment. Choosing what you listen to is a small act, but it's a surprisingly powerful way to create your own little bubble of reality. Now, this next part might sound a little bit backwards. How does adding more noise help reduce feeling overwhelmed? But it all comes down to one key thing: predictability. Think about it. A steady, constant sound, like rain on a window or a whirring fan, acts like a filter. It smooths out the sensory landscape. So all those sharp, jarring, unpredictable noises, a random dog bark, a sudden siren, a door slamming, they don't jolt your nervous system into high alert quite so easily. And that word, predictable, is so important. It gets to the heart of why our brains find so much comfort in things that are just plain familiar. You see, at its core, your brain is a prediction machine. It's working 24/7, trying to figure out what's coming next so it can solve problems before they even happen. All of this is in service of one goal: keeping you safe. And that takes a ton of mental energy. So think about a normal day. It's just full of new challenges and things you have to figure out on the fly. It's a lot of work for your brain. But what happens when you put on a show you've already seen 10 times? There are zero surprises. Your brain knows what's coming. It doesn't have to work so hard. It can finally relax. And when your brain relaxes, your whole nervous system calms down. And so that familiar sound becomes this incredible emotional buffer, After a really long, chaotic day, it's a guaranteed source of stability. It's like hitting an emotional reset button, a way to find your balance again. So when you start to put all these pieces together, it becomes incredibly clear we really need to change the way we think about this habit. If you've ever beaten yourself up over this, thinking it means you're just easily distracted or you can't handle a little peace and quiet, I really want you to let that go. Because what you're doing is actually incredibly resourceful. Just let that sink in for a second. This is not a weakness. It is a highly effective, deeply logical survival tool. Your brain has figured out a brilliant strategy to carve out a little bit of peace, to manage stress, and to feel safe in a world that is, let's face it, often incredibly loud. So the next time you find yourself automatically turning on that podcast or that same old playlist, maybe just pause for a second and ask yourself, what is this acoustic blanket doing for me right now? Is it helping me tune out my worries? Is it giving me a sense of control? Or is it just a comforting, predictable friend? Understanding why you're doing it is the first step to using this amazing tool with purpose, instead of just letting it run on autopilot.